some of the best things to do living in Draper. That is what I'm going to be talking about today. I have lived in Draper for 23 years, so I am going to give you a tour and show you some of the best things that I have enjoyed living as a resident in Draper for the past 23 years. And where better to start than one of my favorite hikes, and that is the Bear Canyon Suspension Bridge. Now, there is tons of hiking in Draper, and I'm going to get into some of the other areas and why people love living, especially on the benches of Draper, if you love to hike. So one of the reasons this is my favorite is because it's quick and it's relatively easy. I mean, I see families out here with 5, 6-year-old kids doing it. You can see behind me, you still get a good workout because there's still a good incline. I'm going to show you some of the photos and video I take when it's not covered in snow in the summer and the spring, so you can get a better idea. But you can realistically walk this trail in an hour or less round trip. So it's a great thing to do after you get off of work. I love it because I can bring my dog with me. They do have to be leashed, and you do need to watch for rattlesnakes in the warmer temperatures because, I mean, I was out here this summer and there was a guy biking that I came across, and he's like, "Hey, be careful, there's a rattlesnake up ahead." So people are really good about warning you if they do come across anything, but it's definitely something to be aware of. And then I want to take you over to just one other area, Coyote Hollow Trail. Now, these are just 2 areas that I covered today for hiking in Draper, but there are other places like Potato Hill, Suncrest Trails. So one of the things I want to point out about living in Draper, especially on these benches, you can see all the houses. Now, I am at a trailhead, but just to give you an example, you can see right up there is Suncrest. A lot of places that you live on this bench in Draper, there's trails along these mountains that you can get up to Suncrest on a hike or a bike. It's really kind of hard to see, but even like right where my fingers are at is a little bit of a trail that you can hopefully see, and that would take you up to Suncrest. So you don't even have to come to these designated hiking areas when you live, especially on the benches in Draper, to be able to hike and get around. January, so you can see the trails are covered in snow, but there are still cars in the parking lot. You can see trails like fat tire bikes and snowshoeing and things that can still be done in these Draper trails, even though they are covered in snow. And then there's the Salt Lake County Flight Park, the north side here in Draper. And you might be thinking, I don't paraglide and I don't hang glide. This isn't applicable to me, but you can actually hire these guys to do tandem paragliding and things like that. Now, I don't know a ton about it, but there's lots of shops in Draper that you could Google. But you can see even in January, these guys are diehards, guys and gals, and are still up here in these cold temperatures. And it's just a really pretty spot. Now, I don't know if you can see it in this video, but there are paragliders, that are walking up the face of the old Widowmaker, and they will go take off from the top. Sometimes they land at the top. But people will even hike this, kind of what I was talking about with hiking and just finding places to hike when you live on the bench. This is a perfect example of them doing that up the face of that. There's also a trail right along the bottom here that goes all the way. Either one will take you all the way up to Suncrest. Okay, and then we're here at Draper Park. You can see they're still taking down lights from the holidays, but this park always has something going on, especially in the summertime, all different events. But you can see the huge grass area, you can see the basketball courts. I'm going to walk over to the park area just over there. That's the new All Abilities, new in the last couple of years, All Abilities playground. But what makes this place popular, you can see people come and park here, but you have access to the Porter Rockwell Trail where people will walk, bike, run, all of that, and it makes it really convenient from here. So, just to talk a little bit more about the Porter Rockwell Trail that I mentioned you can access from Draper Park. I've talked about it in some of my other Draper videos, but I love it. It's a great trail for walking, running, biking, but it goes for so far. You can connect all the way to Utah County from the Porter Rockwell Trail. And even being here in Flat Draper and not on the benches, it's a great option for getting exercise. So I'm also going to point out when you're here at the park, you can see the pathway that goes all the way around this park and over the bridge and around the grass area there. So if you want to stay close and not go as far and out as the Porter Rockwell Trail, you have this option. It's a nice option for when you have kids that you don't want to be too far away, but you don't need to sit and watch them at the park playing all the time. If you want to walk around on this little path, it's a great spot. And then you can see this is the Draper Veterans War Memorial area that is right next to the park as well. You also have these covered pavilion areas that you can rent out through Draper City's website. This is the really large one. And then they do have a smaller one just on the other side of the park there. And they're relatively inexpensive to rent out through Draper City. So if you're having a large event or family reunion or anything like that, these are great options for you in Draper. And since there are kids here playing, I want to be really respectful of that. So I'm not going to zoom in here or show a lot about this park, but you can see it's a really cool all abilities area at this Draper Park. And then there's also Wheadon Farm Park. And this park here in Draper, I- it's the most popular for pickleball. As far as I know, there are no other pickleball courts that are public use in Draper. So these pickleball courts get very busy at peak times on the weekends, after work, before work, when the weather is nice. But you also do have a playground to play at, and you also have access to the Porter Rockwell Trail. So the pickleball courts here were so busy and so popular and running out of space that Draper City actually came through, I believe it was last year, and opened up additional courts on this side of the park. So again, there are kids playing, so I don't want to get too close, but that is the park area. You have another covered pavilion that is available. And then just up in this area is where you would walk and access to Porter Rockwell Trail. And you can see it's just a really pretty area. And then you do also have some open grass area just to the left of the play park. Of course, I can't cover everything that there is to do in Draper, but we do have the South Mountain Golf Course. We have the Cowabunga Bay Water Park, the aquarium parks. There's lots of different options living here in Draper. This was just to highlight some of them. I hope you enjoyed the video today and found it useful. If you are looking at making a real estate move, reach out to me, call or text me. That is the best way to reach me. I'd love to connect with you. But as always, make it a great day.